What up, everyone? So, we got a special box here, the Stan Lee box from Nerd Block, the Nerd Block company. So, to celebrate the occasion, I wore my Donald Duck shirt because I'm pretty sure they're the same age. So, and has anyone else noticed that Stan Lee's been in like 4 boxes this month? He has this box, he had his own box, he was in the BAM box, and I think he was in one more. So, I don't know what's up. Maybe he's on his deathbed or something. He feels like he has to accomplish something, but it's just really weird that he's never shown up in a box before, and now he's showing up in like all of them. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad, but either way, we got our special edition Stan Lee box. I was one of the last people to get this, by the way. I just got this. Everyone else gets it earlier, but I'm very far away from Nerd Block, so it takes a while. So I've seen a lot of the stuff in here because it's impossible to avoid spoilers these days. Everyone's posting shit everywhere. But let's take a look at what we got. I'll put that down there. Alright, first off, the shirt. Smells weird. Alrighty, and we got a shirt with Stan Lee's face. And some shiny glasses. So that's kind of cool. I don't mind that. I don't have any shirts with Stan Lee on it, so that'll do. And I'll give that a nice score after the break. Alright, next. Something we've seen from the Nerd Block company before, these sodas. We saw this like a month or two ago in the classic Nerd Block. With the Bob's Burgers, we had Tina Belcher in there. And obviously Nerd Block has a partnership with this company because this is the only place we've seen them. And I'm pretty sure this is exclusive. Yep, it says exclusive. So I don't think a lot of people were a big fan of the Tina Belcher ones. I think everyone loves Bob's Burgers, but it's just weird. Like it's interesting. It's interesting to have it in that shape, but you can't help but ask like, why? Why is Stan Lee a soda can? Like, why is that a good thing? Like, why do we need him in a soda can? I just don't get it. I would have much rather had just like a plain figure like of his likeness instead of him as a soda can. It just is, it's weird. It's still cool because it's interesting, but to make a whole series just based on people shaped like soda cans, it's like, okay, all right, there's a soda can with his face on it. Oh, okay, yeah, all right, moving on. What do we got here? Ocarina of Doom. So it looks like an ocarina with Stan Lee's signature on there. Not his real signature, I assume, just an imitation one. Because ironically, even though Stan Lee's been in every box, we're not getting any stuff signed by Stan Lee unless you paid the BAM box $150, which I did not. Alright, let's see. Well, it works. That's cool. And again, I have to ask, why? Why an ocarina? Of all the things to put in the BAM box, Stan Lee is one of the most iconic figures in the comic book world. He's just definitely well known. He's in every Marvel movie these days. Why an ocarina? What the fuck does that have to do with Stan Lee? So again, really weird choice. And I hope to God there's a description card in there explaining this. Like why we got an ocarina. Still cool, nothing wrong with ocarinas. I don't know how to play it. I don't know if anyone does nowadays, but there it is. Ocarina. Alright, moving right along. And this says exactly what I was going to open this up, but it literally just says Excelsior Ring. So no need to really open it. Is it focusing? Focus! Come on. Oh, Lord. Why aren't you focusing? Right there. Oh, jeez, doing a terrible job focusing. Whatever, I'll open it up. So you can tell the quality of this ring because they wrapped it in plastic. Alright, it says Stan Lee on there, and then it has Excelsior printed in there. But the only bad news about this is they didn't ask what your ring size is. So for like 90% of the people out there, this doesn't fit. Okay, it fits on my ring finger, so that works. So that's kind of cool. I guess that's interesting. Nothing too crazy detailed about it. Why is my camera not focusing? Dude. Oh my gosh. It's doing it? Close enough? Okay, well you guys get the point. Seriously, why aren't you focusing? I think it's having trouble focusing because it's so shiny, but alright, I'll try. If it's not focusing, I'll try and post a picture of it at the end. Yeah, okay, we got an Excelsior ring. You know, I guess that's kind of relevant. That's his catchphrase. Why a ring, I'm not totally sure, but that kind of seems like a bad idea because everyone has different sized fingers, so what if that doesn't fit you? Then that's just totally useless. Like, okay, there's that. Alright, moving on. Let's see, you got a notebook here. Stan Lee sketchbook. Okay. Alright. Let's take a look. Boop. And this looks like it has his face on there, just barely embossed on there. You can just barely see it. But yeah, it has his face texture on there. So there's that. Is there anything in here? Nope. It is a completely blank notebook with Stan Lee's face slightly imprinted on the front. Alright. So far, no home runs. Not so great. We'll keep going though. This looks like we got a little card in here. Okay, I think this is the description. Like, this comes with a little card. Friends and fans of Stan Lee. Founding member. Okay, I'm guessing they're gonna do more of these or something like that. Alright, there's that. Little piece of paper. Then we got a button that says Excelsior. Alrighty, got his face on there. Cool beans. Then it looks like we got an Excelsior coin, which I would assume is exclusive. Let's see what the quality is on this. Boop. And it's okay. It's not metal, or maybe it has metal in there. I think it's plated, but it's very light for a coin. I don't know why my camera can't focus on anything that's shiny. There we go. There's that, and then the back. So nothing too crazy about it. It's got a cool little design around it, though. It's got that little circle around it. That's pretty cool. It's got his face. Yeah, it's not super high quality. It's kind of lightweight, so it seems like it's plated. That's kind of what it feels like. So there we go. Coin. Next. So we got a Stan Lee shirt buttons. That's weird. So I'm guessing you put that over your actual buttons. I'm assuming that's what that does. Shirt buttons doesn't really say. Yeah, I guess you put that over your, or maybe it replaces your actual buttons. Yeah, it does. Has little holes in there to replace that. So if you, instead of regular shirt buttons, if you wanted your shirt buttons to stay Stan Lee spread out, which no one would ever be able to read unless you actually told them to, there's that. Okay. Again, very odd choices. Keeping it weird in this box. Alrighty. Got The Inhumans #1. Presented by Nerdblock. So we got an exclusive comic, special edition #1. I'm kind of sad they canceled the Inhumans movie. I was actually really excited for it. I thought it looked really cool. I was pretty psyched for it, but they canceled it and put him in the TV show, which I'm really bummed about. I really wanted to see an Inhumans movie. That would have been awesome. Alright, we got a little pin. Teeny tiny. Little baby pin. There's that. So I've actually started using my pins. I just recently bought a cork board, and I've been putting them all in there, because up until this point, past like 2 or 3 years, I've just had a bunch of pins laying around. So I actually decided to do something with them. And then we got an art print with Stan Lee, imitating Spider-Man. Not signed, not numbered, just a print. Still looks pretty nice. I think the artist did a good job on it. Can't read the name. I'll have to look at the description card. And yeah, that's it. That's all the stuff in the box. So everything in here was incredibly weird. Very weird choices. And nothing really special. So I gotta say, I'm not impressed at all. I was very hesitant to order this box from the Nerdblock company, because all their specialty boxes usually suck. And even their regular boxes haven't been that great most of the time. So all the stuff in here is exclusive. It's just really weird stuff. Like, why did they choose these things? And again, I wish one of these Stan Lee boxes would have something signed by Stan Lee. That's what everyone wants. We want a signature. We don't give a shit about this weird stuff with his face on it. We want something signed by him. Why not just like put one thing, or even put some incentive to get some stuff signed in there by him? But oddly enough, none of the stuff is signed by Stan Lee. Very weird, but you know, whatever. So we'll take a short little break, and then we'll look up some values for these, and then we'll come back and give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back. Let's talk about some value on these items and give this box a rating. First, the shirt. It'll get the standard $12 to $15 value, as all shirts do. And as far as the score, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Quality was okay, and the design was okay. I think it's still kind of cool. This is just nothing spectacular, you know. It's like a Stan Lee shirt. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Obviously, you like Stan Lee if you're getting his box, so, but, you know, nothing crazy spectacular. And I'm not a big fan of the color, to be quite honest, because I think Stan Lee's cool, but I don't need, like, everyone within like a 3-block radius to know I'm wearing a bright red shirt and just stand out in the crowd. They could have probably done it like a little more of a subtle color, or even red's fine, but maybe just like a softer tone of red. I've said this before, like when companies do shirts, like I know they try to mix it up with colors, but sometimes it's just way too bright and it's like way too loud. It's fine to do colors, but subtle colors like this. Like this is blue, but it's not like bright neon blue. It's like a soft little kind of grayish dark blue. So that's good. But this one, it's a little bit out there. So you're gonna, if you're wearing this, you're gonna let everyone know you love Stan Lee. Which, you know, nothing wrong with that, but you know, maybe tone down the brightness just a tad. So yes, $12 to $15 value. Next, the ring. So, a lot of these items are the same. They're being listed for a certain price, but none of them are selling. And that's kind of the problem here. It's hard to judge a value if nothing's being sold. Just because something's being listed at a certain price does not mean it's worth that. It's not worth anything until someone's willing to pay that. So that's the problem with a lot of these items. I don't think anyone liked them. So I think a lot of people are selling them and no one's buying them. So it's like, well, then what is it really worth? So I'm going to kind of do my best to judge it. A lot of people are listing this for like 20 bucks and I say like totally not worth it. This ring is way too simplistic and there's no marking on it whatsoever, which means it's not made of any like nice metal. It's not made of silver or anything like that. It's probably made of nickel or something like that, something really cheap. Hopefully it doesn't tarnish, but I wouldn't be surprised. Usually there's a little stamp in there to say like, hey, this is silver, or hey, this is so-and-so, so you know it's a good quality, so you know it's not going to rust or anything. But some rings, like cheaper quality rings, are made of nickel, and they'll turn your finger green. So there's obviously no way for me to test that right now, because I can't really tell. But I also think this is a really bad idea, because it's it's like shirts, because when you order a box, you tell them what size shirt. If you didn't tell them, and they just sent you a random size, it's like, well, what's the point? And same with this. Like, what if this doesn't fit you? Then this is just useless to you. So I'm sure a lot of people didn't like it, and of the people who did like it, they still may not be able to use it because it's not sized or anything. They didn't ask your size, which they really should have. When you order the box, shirt size, ring size. Simple. Was it really that hard? And if you're not wearing the ring, then there's really not much point to it. The nicest thing about this is the box. It comes in a nice little box here and it says Stan Lee on it, which is kind of cool, but it's all pretty dinged up as well. So this is a very cheap quality ring. So I'm going to be generous and give it like a $10 to $12 value, which honestly I don't even think it's worth. It's just a plain ring that has a basic inscription on it, which isn't done very well, of a very cheap metal. You can find rings similar to this that aren't technically exclusive, but who gives a shit? Rings similar to this for like pennies on the dollar, for like less than $5. So people trying to get this, sell this for 20 bucks, I wish you the best. Whoops. I wish you the best in that. If someone's willing to pay you 20 bucks for this ring, hey, good for you, man. Then you're really scamming someone on that. But I would not pay $20 for this. I don't think anyone else should. I don't even think someone should pay $15 for this. You can find better quality ones. And yeah, so I'm going to give it 10 to 12. Yeah, sorry. I think I said 12 to 15. $10 to $12. And yeah, I don't even think it's worth that. So there you go. 10 to 12 on that. Next, the sodas can. Same thing with this. I'm going to give this a $6 to $10 value because it's being listed at 10, but again, no one's buying it. No one's purchasing it. No one's bidding on it. No one really wants it. Same with the Tino one. Like, you couldn't give that away. The only reason it isn't getting listed for lower than $6 is because it's heavy. And if you listed it on eBay or something like that for less than $6, then you'd lose money because the price to ship it would cost more than that item because it's over, like, I think it's the minimum for first class, which is 16 ounces. It weighs more than that, so you can't ship it for less than that. So you can't list it cheap enough for someone to want to buy it. So again, that'll give that a 6 to 10, but I don't even think it's worth that. So I'm not sure who really wants it. I don't think the sodas thing is going to be very collectible. Nerdblock has a lot of weird partnerships with companies that just aren't very good, like Springs. They did Springs for a while. It's like, who wanted that? It's still cool. Like, it's an interesting concept, the way they designed it on there, but I think they should have picked, like, any other shape. They could have made it so much better, but they chose a soda can. So, whatever. Next, our little coin. So this is a pretty cool coin. But like I said, it's kind of cheaply made. I think it's just plated, but again, I'm assuming it's a very cheap type of metal there. So yeah, I think it had a cool design on it, and it's an interesting concept. Coins are a little hard to display though, but it's still cool. I guess it's a collectible coin is pretty interesting. So this is going to get around a $15 value, which is higher than I expected. Same concept. A lot of people are listing it, not a lot of people are buying it. So I did my best estimation on that, and I think it could get 15 maybe if someone wanted to buy it. Probably less than that, to be quite honest, but I think this is still pretty interesting. Not super practical, but this is something that's like kind of collectible to the point where it's like, okay, maybe not everyone would love it, but I understand why they put it in there. That makes sense. More so than a soda can. So that makes sense. So $15 on that. What doesn't make sense is a fucking ocarina. They didn't explain on the card. I don't know that much about Stan Lee. Is this his like secret obsession? Does he like super into ocarinas? Is there some connection that I'm not making there? That a well-known fact about Stan Lee, like P.S. he fucking loves ocarinas? Like I don't know. I don't know why they put this in there and they didn't say. So same thing, this is getting listed for certain amounts online but not selling. I'll give this an $8 to $10 value because it's of decent quality. It works. I don't think anyone would pay that, but just trying to estimate like based on quality, I'll give it an $8 to $10 value. But again, like, why? Why an ocarina? Like, what purpose does this serve? Why? They really should have explained that. So again, I don't think you can get 8 to 10 if you're trying to sell it, but I guess it would be worth that. So if you're trying to sell a lot of the stuff, good luck to you. Best wishes, but probably not going to happen. Speaking of which, the Stan Lee buttons. First of all, these are buttons that you actually, as far as I can tell, you'd have to sew in yourself. I don't think they're stick-on. I can see the little holes in there, which means you'd have to sew it on. If they were like sticky on the back and you just put them on, that may be a little different, but the fact that you'd actually have to take buttons off of your shirt and then sew these ones on, it's way more of a hassle than it's worth. Like, and again, who would want that? You can barely tell that it says Stan Lee. Like, looking directly at it, you can, the T is obvious, but like the S and the A and stuff like that, like, and the E, the L, you can kind of see, they all look kind of the same. You'd have to, if you wore this every day of your life, I guarantee you no one would be able to come up to you and be like, oh my gosh, did that say Stan Lee? Like, nobody would see that. You'd have to tell people, hey, look at my Stan Lee button, and they'd have to really get in and be like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that it says that. And even still, like, why? Why would you want that? Why do you want your buttons to say Stan Lee? And why would you ruin a perfectly good shirt by taking the buttons off and taking the time to sew it on? This is more of a hassle than it is an item. And it's not collectible. It'd be easy to make, but it's just so weird. Such an odd choice. But even still, I'll give this 5 to 7. But again, buttons are like a dime a piece. So again, if you wanted to do this yourself, you could go to a crafting store, and they have buttons just like these that spell something out. You could get this exact same thing. It wouldn't be exclusive, but you can get the same set of buttons for probably like $2, if even that, and probably get them in cooler letters that are bigger, and probably get ones that are stick-on too. So it's just like, it's technically exclusive, but you can get these exact same things at like Michael's or something like that for a few cents. It's just a weird choice, and it makes no sense that it's exclusive. But again, I'll be generous and give it a 5 to 7. Next, our comic. So this is one of the only things that does make sense. Why they picked the Inhumans, I'm not totally sure, but a #1 comic, that's exclusive. I'm guessing it has something to do with Stan Lee. Maybe it's just one of his favorite teams, I'm not totally sure, but a comic book, something that makes sense. Whether or not it has Stan Lee's face on it, who gives a shit? At least it's something collectible. At least it's something exclusive where it's like, okay, comic collector, sure, yeah, this makes sense. But even still, this doesn't have a ton of value. This is only going to go for like 6 to 8 because it's still, most of the time, comics and boxes just really aren't worth that much, even exclusive ones, so they just never hold that much value. But at least that is a good collector's item that people might want to keep. Then, our sketchbook. It's very hard to tell that this has anything to do with Stan Lee because it's so subtle, but at least it's something that's practical that you can use. This can be used as an actual sketchbook, whether or not you care it has Stan Lee's face on it. So this will actually go for like 8 to 10 because it is actually a decent sketchbook. It's small, so it'll be hard to sketch in it, but at least you can use that, and the paper's pretty thick, so it's good for sketching on, so at least this is practical, and it is an actual sketchbook, regardless of Stan Lee's face on there. So 8 to 10 on that. Then, our little pin. This is actually okay. It's very tiny. It's awkwardly small. I'm not sure why they made it so incredibly like, look, compared to my finger, like, it's really tiny. You can barely, like, read it. It's so tiny. So I'm not sure why they made it so small, but at least this is something that people like to collect. People like pins, so okay, not bad. This is going for like 6 to 8. I think it's overpriced just because it's so tiny, but you know, pins are very collectible, and I started my own pin board, so I'll keep this one. And 6 to 8, sure, why not? Then, our button, and that came with this is just a letter from the fan club that apparently I have joined now, against my will, and that came with a little card, a collector's club card, okay, and then it came with the button, and that card and paper are worth nothing, but the button, I'm actually going to give like 3 to 5. It's a very cheaply made button. These are like the kind of buttons you make yourself, where it's just like, yeah, buttons are never that expensive, it's a button, so, and again, being generous on a $3 to $5 value. And lastly, our art print. Make room here. Sorry, I forgot to do my quotes. Our art print, which is literally just a picture. Not signed, not numbered, and where'd my description card go? The guy's name was Herrera, and I'm pretty sure I've heard that name before. I can't remember where, but I think he is a somewhat well-known artist. I like the picture. That's really cool. And people are trying to sell this for like 10 bucks, but it's like, why? It's not signed or numbered. There's nothing special about it. Like, people want to try to sell it for 10 bucks. I'll go make a copy of this and sell you the same one for 3 bucks. Like, this, since it's not signed and numbered, it's literally only worth the paper it's printed on. There's nothing to stop me. There's no markings of any kind on here from anything that says that I can't go just make my own copy. I can go to Kinko's, print 10,000 of these, sell them for 5 bucks a piece, half the price other people are selling for online, and be a millionaire. Why not? So, this is not an art print. This is a piece of paper with a picture on it. It's a cool picture. I like it. Nothing wrong with it, but there's no value there. It's exclusive, but no, it's not. It's a piece of paper with a picture. It doesn't matter. So, that'll get a $3 to $4 value, and that's it. So, that all being said, surprisingly, this box still had decent value. On the low end is 81, on the high end, 104. They say the box is supposed to have, I think, $125 value, which I knew that wasn't going to be that, so there's no surprise there. But I'm trying to remember if I paid for shipping. I think I did. It's a $50 box. I'm pretty sure I had to pay for shipping, which made it $60. I can't remember. I probably should have checked before I came out and did the review. But it was either $50 or $60. I'll have to double check, and I'll put it in the description. So that being said, value-wise, it's tough because it's on the high end 104, which is good value, but I don't think it's worth that. Like I said, with all these items, if you didn't like something, good fucking luck trying to sell it, man. I don't think anyone's going to want to like seek out half of these items unless they are dirt cheap. So the value is probably more on that 81 side, but maybe not even that, because a lot of these are technically valueless because these items are only worth what someone's willing to pay for them. They're not being sold anywhere, so it's only worth what someone's willing to give you for it. And if none of them are selling and no one's willing to give you any money for it, then it's technically not worth anything. The only value it has here is like sentimental value. So if you like something, then great, it has value for you. But if you don't like something, you're trying to recoup your money, I wouldn't count on it. I don't think that's going to happen. And that's pretty rare for boxes. There's at least usually some kind of value, but the choices in here were just so weird. Like I said, Ocarina, the ring is fine, but hopefully it fits. It's not good quality, but if it doesn't, it's pretty much garbage, because I don't know if anyone's going to want to pay for that. Soda's can looks cool, so if you like it and want to put it on display, great. If you're trying to sell it, no way, dude. You're not going to be able to sell that thing. And pin was fine. Print is piece of paper. The comic's fine. So at best, we had a lot of items in here that were fine. Not good. They were just acceptable. And the same with like the buttons and stuff. Like, really? You're going to do that? It's like if I made a box and just put some buttons in there to put on your shirt, and we're like, hey, they're exclusive. They're from me. It's like, who cares? You want to put in a zipper in there too? Put a zipper so you can take the zipper off your jeans and zip it up, and it'll say Stan Lee. Like, what's the point? Like, it's ridiculous. So, honestly, I think I'm going to give this box a score of 5 out of 10 because it's not that anything is horrible in here. It's just weird choices. So I hope you guys like the stuff in here, because if you got this and didn't like it, you're shit out of luck, because you're not going to be able to sell any of this at any decent price. So hopefully the people that did get this box are just obsessed with Stan Lee's face, because that's the most you're going to get out of it. Some stuff with Stan Lee's face on it. Me personally, I was just more curious than anything, and I should have taken my own advice. Nerd Block, when they do isolated blocks, I've never seen one that's been good. I've never gotten one that's been good. They always jack up the price, and they don't ever give the value that they say they're going to on there. So overall, I would say I'm disappointed, but I'm just not surprised. This is kind of what I expected. I expected a little more, and I was kind of hoping that maybe they'd give away a few autographs, and maybe they did, but that's kind of what I would want from Stan Lee. He keeps showing up in boxes. Honestly, I want an autograph. That's all I would want. I want to meet him and get an autograph. And I know time's limited because I don't know how much longer he's going to be around, but stuff with his face on it, I can only do so much. I have a pop figure of him, which I thought was cool, but then I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see his face that many more times. Like, do I really need to see it on a soda can? Like, and do I need to wear a plain ring that says Excelsior? Like, and I might wear the shirt, but again, very bright. But, you know, anyway, not very surprising. Nerd Block Company with their special block. Let me know what you guys thought about it. I waited a while to do this review, or I got the box late, so I was hoping the values would be more accurate, but I'm seeing that maybe not a lot of people have still gotten it. Maybe they're still shipping out boxes, so these prices may actually drop even more than they already are. But we'll see. I don't know if I can technically put this in the monthly review because it was a one-time thing. It's not a monthly block, but I'll probably mention it again and just see where it's at. But as always, let me know what you guys thought. Is this like, do you feel the same as me and this is the weirdest bunch of crap that you've ever seen in your life that just happens to have Stan Lee's face? Or did you love it? Like, do you love ocarinas? Are you just super into playing your ocarina and pretending to drink out of your soda can? I'd love to hear it. So if someone out there does love the stuff, I would love to talk to you about it. Please let me know. Otherwise, let me know exactly how you feel about this box. And maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it. If everyone else loves it, then hey, then that's just me. But as always, your opinions matter the most. So let's talk about it in the comments. Anyway, thank you for listening to me rant and rave about this goofy-ass box. And we'll see you on the next review. More collectible reviews to come up and more boxes of the month. So thank you all for supporting. And please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you for watching. Love you all. Peace.